never ever in the history of modern democracies that two presidents were ousted in the matter of 14 days. South Korea will be remembered when the history of modern democracies will be written in future for these two infamous incidents. Incident number 1 happened on 14th of December when their elected president, President Yoon, was ousted from his office by the National Assembly of South Korea. What was his crime? Was he trying to bring back those horrendous memories of 1960s and 1970s which South Korean people experienced? Or was he trying to protect his country, his motherland, from the potential aggression of North Korea? In another incident happened on 27th of December, his successor, President Han Duck-soo, was impeached by the same National Assembly. What was his crime again? Was he trying to protect the departure of President Yoon? Was he trying to misuse his authority, misuse his power to protect the impeachment of President Yoon? And right now their finance minister is being appointed as an acting president of South Korea. In the matter of last 14 days, South Korean people have seen the Squid game being played at the highest political levels in the South Korean government. Through 3 incidences, we can understand this Squid game. Incident number 1, their elected president, President Yoon, gets impeached. Incident number 2, their prime minister gets promoted to acting president and then gets impeached on 27th December. And right now their finance minister is being appointed as an acting president. That finance minister is not even an elected representative. Now this whole issue raises certain important questions, and it also raises certain doubts in the minds of South Korean allies such as US and European countries. Also it raises the potential threat that tomorrow North Korea may use its aggressive military strategy against South Korea in the wake of this political turmoil right now happening in South Korea. We also need to understand what exactly is the process through which South Korean president gets impeached. We also need to look at the political dynamics in which South Korean government operates. And we will also analyze in this video whether the political dynamics in South Korean government and the process through which their president is removed, is there any similarity of that process with Indian constitutional scheme? These are some interesting questions that we are going to get answers to in this particular video. Hello, and myself Vishal Jaibhai, and I welcome you all to StudyIQ IAS English platform. Before moving on to the topic, let me just give you the background and the context of this particular issue. Back in 2022, President Yoon was elected directly by the people of South Korea. South Korean president is directly elected from the people. He was elected by a thin majority. And after 2022, his popularity was declined consistently because of his lack of attention to medical reforms, because of his lack of effective communication with the people of South Korea, and because of his wife's involvement in the latest scandal. Now, on 3rd of December 2024, he takes unpopular decision. A decision which was taken for the first time in the last 45 years of South Korean government's history. A decision to implement martial law in the country. Now he defends that decision, that he says that that decision is being taken to protect the potential threat from North Korea and potential threat from inner elements of the government as well. Now this whole issue of implementing the martial law was criticized and heavily criticized by the opposition. The martial law implemented on 3rd of December was rolled back within 6 hours. And afterwards, the process of impeachment of President Yoon gets started. And finally, he gets impeached on 14th of December. Now, we need to understand exactly what happened after 14th of December. The context to the whole issue. The two top leaders being impeached in the matter of 14 days. President Yoon was impeached for his attempt at imposing a martial law in the country. And President Han Duck-soo, as I earlier mentioned, that he was impeached for his alleged involvement in stopping the impeachment of President Yoon. Now we will look at what exactly is the impeachment process of President of South Korea. Before going there, we need to understand the political dynamics in which South Korean government operates. We need to look at certain important points here. Number 1, that President of South Korea is directly elected. There is National Assembly which basically resembles Indian Parliament, which consists of 300 members. In order to remove the president of South Korea, you need 2/3 majority in the National Assembly. Now, this National Assembly consists majorly of two political parties. One political party is People's Power Party, to which President Yoon basically belonged, and to which basically President Han Duck-soo also belonged. Now, this political party, People's Power Party, has less majority, or rather the Democratic Party, which is right now the main opposition party, has the majority in National Assembly. And because they have the majority in National Assembly, they are getting their voices heard. They are getting their decisions implemented. Decisions of removing these two presidents. President belongs to People's Power Party, but National Assembly is right now dominated by the Democratic Party, which is basically the opposition party in South Korean government. Right? So these things, these whole dynamics, this whole political dynamics has caused this political turmoil in South Korea right now. Now let's look at the procedure through which President of South Korea gets ousted from the office, gets impeached from the office. Like I already mentioned, you require 2/3 majority in the National Assembly to impeach the president. So that 2/3 majority is there with the opposition Democratic Party. After you impeach through the resolution to remove the president, you need to have the approval of Constitutional Bench of Supreme Court of South Korea. And this Constitutional Bench consists of 9 members. Right now, there are only 6 members in the Constitutional Bench. 3 seats are vacant. Opposition parties demanded to President Han Duck-soo, who was acting president, to fill those 3 seats so that President Yoon's departure gets easy. And again, remember friends, that the Constitutional Bench needs to approve the impeachment resolution by the 2/3 majority again. That is, 6 out of 9 judges of that Constitutional Bench needs to approve that impeachment resolution. And if they approve that impeachment resolution, President gets impeached from the South Korean President's office. This is the procedure, a simple procedure, right? Now we need to understand whether how this procedure is linked, or whether it is related to Indian constitutional scheme of removing a president. Let's just remember how Indian president is removed or impeached from the office. We don't have any precedent of President of India getting removed or impeached from the office. Under Article 61, there is a mention of impeachment process, a formal impeachment process for the removal of Indian president. Charges are brought in the first house. It may be Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, and then those charges are basically voted upon. Before bringing those charges, a 14 days resolution notice needs to be served to the President of India, and that notice needs to be signed by 1/4 members of the house. The 1/4 members of the house. 14 days advance notice. President of India is removed for violation of the constitution. Similarly, the President of South Korea is also removed for violation of the constitution. Article 65 of the South Korean constitution mentions the removal of President of South Korea process. In our country, Article 61 mentions the impeachment process of Indian president. Ground, violation of the constitution. Process, 14 days advance resolution notice needs to be given to the president, and that notice needs to be signed by at least 1/4 members of the house. The house in which the motion or the resolution to remove the president is brought, that resolution needs to be passed by at least 2/3 majority of total membership of the house. Now this majority is the toughest majority mentioned under Indian constitution. 2/3 of total membership of the house. And once that majority, with that majority, the vote resolution is passed, then that resolution is moved to the other office. And other office again needs to pass that resolution with the 2/3 majority. Once the resolution gets passed in both the houses, president stands impeached, president stands removed from Indian president's office. There is no mention of constitutional bench hearing as such insofar as impeachment of Indian president is concerned. We have seen in South Korean president's removal, there is final approval of constitution bench consisting of 9 judges. But our judiciary is not given primacy in the matter of impeachment of president. It is the parliament which is supreme body which have the power or authority as per the constitution of India to impeach the president of India. Now, these are basically the comparative analysis. This is the comparative analysis of removal of South Korean president and removal of Indian president. The whole issue that is right now happening in South Korea, the whole political turmoil right now that is happening in South Korea, it raises certain few important questions. Where exactly South Korea is heading? Are US and its European allies going to help South Korea in order to overcome the current political turmoil situation? And how South Korea is going to tackle the threat of the imminent threat of North Korea? Will there be a regime change in South Korea? These are the interesting questions which certain political developments in the coming times may have answers to. Let me know what you feel about these questions in the comment section. Thank you so much.